All right, picture this. You're hitting your regular workout. Maybe you're feeling a bit tight, a little stiff.
Hmm.
Or maybe you've got that familiar little niggle that just won't quit.
Yeah, I know the one.
You've probably tried a few stretches, maybe you rolled around on a foam roller a bit, and it feels okay, maybe.
Temporarily better, perhaps?
But really, it's like you're just putting flex tape
Mm,
on the issue, isn't it? It's
yeah.
just a temporary fix for something that keeps coming back.
It's a remarkably common scenario, yeah. And it really points to a critical gap in a lot of fitness routines, that feeling of movement being just sort of good enough.
Exactly. And that's really our mission today. We're going to take a deep dive into understanding what true mobility actually is.
Right.
Because so many of us are laser focused on getting stronger, maybe faster, but we often completely overlook this absolutely crucial element. And it impacts both performance and how long you can actually keep doing what you love.
Absolutely. Performance and longevity.
We've got an incredible source today. It's from an expert with tons of practical hands-on experience, and it really cuts through a lot of the noise out there.
Yeah, and what's really insightful about this source is it moves beyond just like generic advice.
Hmm.
It gives you a real actionable framework. It challenges those typical approaches, shows you not just why mobility is important, but also why it gets neglected so often.
Okay.
And then, crucially, it offers 3 really powerful principles to genuinely improve it. So this deep dive, it's designed to give you insights you can, apply pretty much right away.
Okay, let's unpack this then.
Yeah.
First up, let's talk about the why. The why of mobility. Why should we even bother? Because it's clearly more than just, like, feeling less stiff.
Oh, it truly is. Yeah. The source makes it really clear the benefits go way beyond just comfort.
Okay.
When you intentionally work on mobility, your movement efficiency improves. That means you move with less wasted energy.
Right. Smooth.
Smoother, exactly. You also gain a deeper range of motion for, whatever exercises you're doing. And, this is key, you develop better control in those deeper ranges.
Okay, so that control piece is important. It's not just about getting to the deeper range.
Precisely. Without control, deep range is just, well, it's just floppiness, isn't it? It's not functional mobility.
Right.
And maybe most significantly, improving your mobility makes you far less prone to picking up new injuries.
Hmm.
And for a lot of people, it can even help resolve those chronic, nagging old pains that have just been lingering forever. It's really foundational stuff for a healthy, resilient body.
It really sounds like a no-brainer when you list all those benefits. But let's be honest, mobility isn't usually the first thing people, rush to do in the gym.
No, it's not the sexy part of training for most.
So what's the real barrier there? What does the source identify? Why don't more people consistently work on it?
Well, it's a real paradox, isn't it? The source points out that many people do exactly what you said right at the start.
The flex tape approach.
Yeah, they throw together a few stretches, maybe some foam rolling, and just hope it magically fixes the issue. It's a really superficial, symptom-treating approach.
And let's face it, the source actually calls us out directly.
Hmm.
It's often perceived as, and I quote, boring as hell.
Huh! Yes, it does. And that perception, it leads straight to inconsistency, haphazard efforts.
Yeah.
And then ultimately people don't see results, so they stop.
Right. Because it feels like wasted time if it's boring and not working.
Exactly. And then there's just the sheer distraction of other immediate fitness goals. Everyone wants to get stronger or faster or, bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And those goals often overshadow the foundational importance of mobility, even though, ironically, mobility underpins all of them. People just prioritize what they see as the immediate gains.
Okay, so moving on from the why not, our expert offers a really crucial disclaimer right off the bat, something we should all remember. Assess, don't guess. What does that actually mean for us? And how does it relate to these principles we're about to get into?
It's such a vital point. Look, the expert emphasizes that for a truly tailored, specific protocol, working one-on-one with a professional, like a physical therapist or a really good specialized coach, that's always going to be ideal.
Right. Personalized assessment.
That personalized one-on-one guidance, it's the gold standard. You can't really beat it.
So, okay, while we're about to dive into these principles, we need to be clear. This isn't a replacement for that personalized guidance.
No, definitely not.
But they're more like a powerful set of tools, things that have proven really successful.
Exactly. The expert has practiced these 3 principles with tremendous success, both on themselves and with their clients. Applying them consistently, really sticking with them, can lead to significant improvements in mobility, reduced injury risk, and just better performance overall.
Okay.
So think of them as...
Right. Things you can actually do. Let's jump into principle 1 then. Vary your warm-ups. Now, this one really hit home for me because I am definitely guilty of the same warm-up every single time habit.
Oh, it's incredibly common. So many people do it. The problem, as our source highlights, is that doing the same or even just a very similar warm up for every workout, it just sort of wakes you up.
Okay.
It gets the blood flowing, activates parts of your body and brain, sure, but it doesn't necessarily prepare the specific muscles you'll actually be using heavily that day.
So you're getting warm, but maybe not ready for the specific demands of, say, squatting versus benching.
Precisely. You're warm, but not specifically ready.
Okay, so what's a structured solution then? How does the expert suggest we approach warm-ups differently?
The expert suggests a kind of three-part approach. First, maybe 2-3 minutes of just general warm-up, like a sled push-pull, maybe some easy cardio machine work, get the heart rate up a bit.
Okay, general movement.
Second, 2-3 bodyweight movements that specifically target the muscles you're focusing on for that day's training. And third, 2-3 loaded movements using maybe light weights, hitting those same muscles, but maybe from slightly different angles, really dialing it in.
Okay, let's get concrete. The source gives a fantastic example for a squat day warm-up. What kind of movements would we be looking at in that second and third phase, the body weight and loaded stuff?
Right, so for a squat day after your general cardio, you'd move into bodyweight stuff that opens up the hips and activates the glutes. Things like hip 90-90 transitions, maybe some glute bridge walkouts. You're waking up those key players.
Okay, priming those hip and glute muscles.
Exactly. Then, for the loaded movements, phase 3, you look at exercises using light weight to further prepare those muscles for the squat pattern. Maybe something like seated dumbbell good mornings or goblet kickstand pistol squats. You're really getting into the specific angles and demands of the squat.
I see. So it's not just a generic loosen up. It's very deliberately priming the pump for the exact work you're about to do. What's the core benefit here? Why go through all that instead of just, a few arm circles and jogging on the spot?
Well, the benefit is that this approach biases the relevant muscle groups far more effectively. It prepares them better. As the expert notes, look, everyone has movement discrepancies, little imbalances, or sticky points.
Mm-hmm.
By specifically targeting and activating the muscles you need, even the ones you might typically neglect or that don't fire well, you're ensuring your body is primed to use them efficiently and correctly during the main workout.
Right.
And when your muscles are activated properly, you're much more likely to move through your full range of motion with control, which ties directly back to improving your functional mobility.
That makes so much sense.
Huh?
Okay, let's move on to principle 2. Focus on your joints. This one sounds like it really challenges that common idea of just mimicking an exercise you see someone else do.
It truly does, yeah. The source points out that we're often just taught to sort of emulate movements we see.
Yeah, copy the form.
And the human body is incredibly smart. It's amazing at finding a way to mimic those movements. But, and this is a big but, without a keen coaching eye or some self-awareness, there's a really high chance you might be compensating.
Using other muscles to get the job done.
Exactly. Using one muscle group more than others, maybe recruiting things you shouldn't be, instead of properly engaging the intended muscles. The body just finds the path of least resistance to achieve the general shape of the movement.
So, okay, the body finds the easy way out, even if it's not the optimal way for that movement or for your long-term joint health. How does the expert suggest we actually tackle this compensation issue then?
The expert gives us 2 really critical questions to ask ourselves for pretty much every movement or exercise we do.
Okay, what are they?
First, does this joint hinge or rotate? Understand its basic mechanical action.
Hinge or rotate. Got it.
And second, is this joint supposed to be stable or mobile? Understanding its primary role in movement systems.
Stable or mobile. Okay, so for our listeners, how do they practically apply that? Thinking about hinge, rotate, and stable mobile, what does it mean for their own movement when they're exercising?
Well, it means starting to understand that every joint really has a specific role to play in every movement, and that role is dictated by its structure, its anatomy.
Right.
A great practical tool the source mentions for exploring this is controlled articular rotations, or CARs.
CARs. Okay, what are those?
They're basically slow, deliberate movements where you try to move a single joint through its absolute fullest range of motion without letting the rest of your body compensate or move along with it.
Isolating the joint.
Exactly. You're practicing its mechanics at the very end ranges. Doing CARs regularly really helps you develop awareness, identify where you personally have less mobility or maybe sticky points in individual joints. It tells you where you need to focus your mobility work.
That sounds like a really powerful way to self-assess your own mechanics, find your own weak links. Okay, on to principle 3, incorporate tempo. This one feels like it really goes against that grain, that go hard, go fast mentality that's just so prevalent in fitness culture.
Oh, it absolutely does, yeah. The expert points out that, look, there's definitely a time and place for speed and intensity in training. Of course there is.
Sure.
But if that's the sole focus of your training program, if everything is just about speed and load, you're basically asking for injury down the line, and you're certainly neglecting your mobility. You're missing out on a huge opportunity to build control and resilience.
So slowing down.
Mm.
It isn't just about being careful. It's actually a direct path to better mobility.
It absolutely is. Purposely slowing down movements and even holding positions within a movement is extremely beneficial for enhancing mobility, and tempo is the system for doing that deliberately.
Okay, explain tempo. It's essentially breaking down a rep into parts, right?
Yeah, exactly. Tempo training is essentially breaking down any exercise repetition into its different phases of muscle contraction and then assigning a specific time, usually in seconds, to each portion of that rep.
The source gives a 42x1 example. Let's break that down because it seems like a really clear system once you get your head around the numbers.
Definitely. So the first number, the 4 in that 42x1 example, represents the eccentric phase. That's the lowering or down part of a movement.
Okay.
So think about a 4-second slow, lower into a back squat, or taking 4 full seconds to lower the weight in a deadlift back to the floor.
Yeah.
It's all about that slow, controlled descent.
Got it. Slow on the way down. And the 2, what's that for?
The second number, the 2, represents an isometric hold. That's the hold or pause part of the movement, usually at the point of maximum tension or stretch.
Oh, okay.
So using our examples, that would be holding the very bottom position of the squat for a full 2 seconds, or maybe pausing with the bar just off the floor for 2 seconds at the bottom of a deadlift rep, or pausing at the bottom of a pull-up.
Right, holding that stretched or contracted position.
Yeah.
And the X, that always signals something dynamic.
Exactly. The third number or letter, in this case X, is the concentric phase. That's the lifting or up part of the movement. X specifically means to explode, move as fast and powerfully as you can with good form.
Okay, explode up.
You might also see a number there like 1 or 2, meaning a controlled 1 or 2-second lift, or sometimes A for an assisted concentric, but X is common for explosive power out of the hold.
And finally, that last one in 42x1, what's happening there?
That last one is another isometric hold, but this time it's usually at the reset point or the top of the movement.
Oh, okay.
So maybe a brief 1-second pause and squeeze at the top of the squat before you start the next rep's descent. Or a 1-second pause standing tall at the top of the deadlift, ensuring you're fully controlled and reset before going again.
Okay, that makes it incredibly clear. 4 down, 2 hold, X up, 1 hold at top.
So how does actually doing this, incorporating this kind of tempo, specifically help with mobility? What are the big payoffs the expert highlights? The expert points out 2 really key benefits. First, slowing things down like this forces you, really ensures, that you perform the movement properly through its entire range. It gives you time to feel it, to make micro adjustments as you go. This helps you bias and use stabilizer muscles, those smaller, crucial muscles that you might completely neglect or bypass when you're just training at full speed all the time.
Right, engaging those often overlooked muscles sounds really significant for joint health and control. And the second benefit?
The second major benefit is that it creates significantly more time under tension for the muscles involved.
Time under tension, okay.
And when movements are executed through their full available range with this increased time under tension, it dramatically boosts your stability through that movement range.
Yeah, stability through the whole range, not just at the start or end.
Exactly. And what that means is when you then go and perform similar movements in your daily life or your job or your sport, maybe reaching, twisting, lifting, you're far less likely to get injured because you've built greater stability and control throughout that entire range of motion you practice with tempo.
Wow. This has been an incredible deep dive, really packed with actionable insights. Just to sort of reiterate the core message here from our source, while stretching and foam rolling definitely have their place.
Sure, there are tools in the toolbox.
If you've been doing them and not really seeing the results you want, these 3 principles, varying warm-ups, focusing on joints, incorporating tempo, they offer a much more impactful, systematic approach to genuinely improving your mobility.
Absolutely. And the expert themselves, and they mention their clients too, have seen really significant improvements. Better mobility, definitely a reduction in injury occurrences, and just fewer daily aches and pains by consistently incorporating these elements. It's a powerful testament to how effective these principles can be when applied consistently.
So here's maybe our challenge for you listening, something to really chew on. Pick just one of these principles. Maybe it's varying your warm-up next time. Maybe it's asking those joint questions during an exercise. Or maybe it's trying tempo on just one set.
Just start with one.
Yeah, try it in your very next training session. And just consider, how could this seemingly small shift start to unlock entirely new levels of performance, maybe comfort, in your own body? It really prompts you to do what the expert said at the start. Truly assess, don't guess your own movement. What might that actually feel like for you?